Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another weekly update. Hope everybody is having a lovely weekend. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, it was a pretty hectic week here in the stock market. Bunch of back and forth, bunch of nonsense going on. All right. The courts are fighting Trump. They're taking away his tariffs. Oh, the next morning, the tariffs are reinstated. Okay. A bunch of crap happened this week. Okay. Very scary stuff. At the end of the day, we pulled back to the 200 DMA, bounced, and now on this pullback, we are finding buyers stepping in. We did not have the most bearish close, and I am actually just going to jump over here to VIX, and I'm going to point out that this is very likely going to be taking out this low over here, 1715. Current price is 1857. What happens when VIX goes down? What normally happens when VIX goes down? Markets go up. All right, so at the end of the day, we are expecting markets to continue rising from where they are right now. If everything's going to work how it normally does, which, normally we have an opposite correlation to VIX over here on SPX, SPY, the S&P 500. That means we will be looking for the S&P 500 NASDAQ to continue pushing. The market had quite a sell on Friday, and then it was pretty much all recovered by the end of the day. You had this little pullback into the close, but as we could see, the whole sell over here was completely recovered when Trump started talking like a human. I think if Trump was to talk to the people more often, like how he was doing, trying to explain that, hey guys, the country was on a very bad path. We need to fix this. We are fixing it. We're getting stuff done, but we need to fix it or it's going to keep getting worse. If he just explained what he's doing instead of, just coming on and say, okay, China, you broke the rules. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Like, that's the stuff that's going to, bring all the uncertainty. He's definitely doing it on purpose. He's trying to get his deals. We get it. But, at the end of the day, the market liked what he was saying. All right. So he held a press conference on Friday at 1:30. It was actually 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Elon. Elon, is not going to, Elon Musk is not going to be with Doge anymore. I guess his contract is up. He's going to return back to his companies. But that didn't matter. All right. What mattered is how Trump was speaking to the people. All right. To the markets. He was finally doing some sort of soothing for the markets. No crazy trade deal to pump the market. Straight up. Just, we have a leader that's actually explaining what's going on. That's taking away some of the uncertainty we have around this tariffs. I don't think the market cares about tariffs at this point. It doesn't. All right, just doesn't like the uncertainty that it has. So that's something to note. But screw what happened to cause the pump. The market did end up seeing that dip get bought on Friday. We closed out with increasing volume, and now here on the weekly chart, really don't have the worst look. Now we did just have the monthly close going on. May 31st was the last day. That is today. May 30 over here of this monthly candle. Okay, so we got the close there in a bullish manner. If we get a pullback this next month, we are going to expect it to be bought. We're not going to expect it to take out this low over here. We are going to be looking to buy the dip. If we come down, which I don't think we're honestly going to get, I'm just going to be transparent on that one. All right. We got bought up over here at the 200 DMA. If we are to pull back, I'm very confident that QQQ's 200 DMA is going to daily moving average down here, this yellow line. That is going to be bringing buyers back into the mix. But, coming over here to SPY, I am just going to say we already did pull back, test the 200, found buyers off of it, did not print, the most bearish weekly candlestick there, have a bullish monthly candlestick. If it does dip again, we are going to anticipate that bulls are going to defend this candle. All right. Even if you close down here, we're going to anticipate you get bought up just like over here on that next one. We're not expecting them to violate this candle low right here. All right. Which is going to be at 556.04. You buy dips into there. You buy dips in the 200 DMA. That is going to be where the odds are favoring this upcoming month. Because we already pulled back to the 200, pulled back to the 21 EMA there, and now have, almost recovered back from where we declined from, I have to assume the market just wants to continue pushing. Combine that with what I just showed you over here on VIX, we're likely going to be taking out the 1715 low. That means VIX goes further down. That means the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ is likely going to continue getting bought up. Doesn't always have to be, you know, a perfect correlation right there, but just like that. But when it doesn't have a perfect correlation like that, we know something's up behind the scenes and we will pay attention to that, okay? As of right now, that is how we are set up. That is where my bias is going to be going into next week. And if you want to trade with probabilities on your side, then that is also going to be your bias. If you don't agree with anything I'm saying, that's perfectly fine. But I definitely do my best here to make sure everybody is prepared going into the coming weeks in these weekly updates. If you are new to the channel, guys, we have an update 5 times a week, Monday through Thursday. After the close, you can expect a market update going over S&P 500, NASDAQ, SPY, QQQ, Mag 7 stocks, and, you know, sometimes some trade ideas in there. But more so just talking about where the market is going in the short term. And then these weekly updates, we hit it with SPY, QQQ, Mag 7 stocks, semiconductors, and then I have some trade ideas just for you at the end of the video. I will make sure you are prepared. There is no other YouTube channel out there that is going to put this much work into helping their audience for no cost to them. I at least haven't found it on YouTube. I don't actively search or anything like that. But I can almost guarantee there is not another person who is putting this information out for free. This is the only channel you need to be watching to make sure you are prepared for the market. So if that sounds good to you and you are new to the channel, remember to hit the subscribe button and remember to hit the notification bell so you know when we post these videos and you can always know how to take advantage of the market. All right, but as far as our bias going into next week, guys, we're looking for VIX to continue falling here until proven otherwise. If we do get a move above 2044 and we get that alert right there hit, hey, all right, we're wrong. VIX is probably going to be spiking a little bit. That's right near the 21 EMA. So if you don't reject that level, that's when we have a larger VIX spike on our hands. That's when SPY and QQQ can get a larger pullback over here. Probably going to break the 200 at that point and maybe continue down here. And that is where QQQ's 200 DMA will be. Well, like I said, all right, bullish monthly candlestick. We know VIX in the short term is probably going to be continuing lower. Weekly chart, all right, we do have, you know, this three-week tight range going on right here. And all it takes is for you to break up. And this is a well, we're just going to call it a 3% range. Well, if you break up from that 3% range and you have the equivalent move, you're at all-time highs. People are bearish on these charts. I don't know why. I think these people are crazy, but I also told you in the last video that, you know, call me crazy. I know I'm a little nuts. I'm a little freaking crazy, okay? I was thinking, you know, probabilities, they're going to be suggesting that, you know, buyers are going to be continuing to take the wheel. I know we got a little bit of a dip there, but at the end of the day, buyers did end up defending that dip, and they shoved you right back into new daily highs, and then they closed you near the highs. They also saved the absolute look of this weekly candle. We were all the way down here. Well, all the way over here around, what is that, 583 at the low of day. And we got bought up to 591. That is the bulls defending. We'll look at the 4-hour chart over here. Okay, guys, we could very clearly see the battle that was going on in this area. All right, I have that as a blue line right there, 593.20, because if you can take out that little swing high we got going, you're very likely going to have a straight shot up to 595.54, and from there, we're talking 598.51, 602.48, 608.13, and then 613.23. I don't think we're getting all the way up to all-time highs next week. But I'm just being completely honest, just reviewing these charts without a bias, guys. I'm here to make money just like you guys, and I have no incentive to get things wrong because you guys are also here to make money. Okay, at the end of the day, it's not financial advice, but I have no incentive to lead you guys in the wrong direction and just talk about these charts with a complete bias. All right, I want us all to make money, and I want us to be prepared for whichever direction we are going to be moving in. We have bearish scenarios, we have bullish scenarios. I told you the bearish scenario. You're watching VIX, okay? You're going to do what I do right now, okay? Right here. You're going to send an alert. You're going to hit that button. You're going to hit that button. You're going to hit that button. And now we have 3 freaking alerts ready to go. We don't need 3 alerts, but my point is you're going to put an alert right here, right there at 2044 over here on Mr. VIX. If that gets hit, all long bets are off. VIX is having a spike. We're probably wrong in the short term that we're going a little bit higher and VIX is going to be making a new low. And then you're going to trade accordingly. Okay, that is the bear case. That is your tell early on that we are starting a larger VIX spike and we potentially could get back up to this high and maybe up here to 28.32. But until that happens, we are expecting it to make a new low. That is how the chart is set up right now. And I'm just saying with how SPY's monthly, weekly, and daily charts are all set up right now, it makes sense that VIX makes that new low and SPY does continue drifting higher. Okay? All right, so let's go over the levels we're going to be paying attention to on SPY and QQ. We'll go over the Mag 7 stocks next. On the upside, we have 591.13. 593.20 is going to be that key level, that big swing high there that we want to take out, and it takes you right to the next swing high at 595.54. Above there, we're very likely going up to 598.51. You could bet your bottom dollar. You don't bet your bottom dollar, but it's a saying. All right, you could bet your bottom dollar that we're going to hit that 600 psychological level if we test 598.51. Above there, we have 602.48, 608.13, and 613.23. If you do not know how to put these levels on your chart and your levels are not giving you these perfect reactions, you can still mine. They're right here, okay? You see where they are. You see where they're stemming from. You can take them. They're all yours for the taking. On the downside, we're watching 586.07, 581.81 gap over there. I know it looks like it was filled. It actually wasn't filled. This was just a little glitch that happened intraday. All right, so underneath 586.07, we have 581.81. Underneath there, 575.60, which is going to align with that 21 EMA. Well, we're going to be underneath it, but more importantly, the 200 DMA. If we test there, I have to assume you're probably not going to hold it. You're probably going to come down to QQ's 200, which, you know, that means SPY is going to get somewhere in this realm over here, 570.31 down to 561.70. But like I said, the monthly candle, guys, we're probably not coming back down here with how this thing just closed is what I'm getting at. And if we do, you buy that John. All right, you buy that. No financial advice. That's what odds are going to be favoring. So that is SPY. We're going to come over here to QQ. We're going to go over a game plan for the week. On the upside, 521.95. That is the key level that you have been rejecting your absolute butt off over here. You have a 1, you have a 2, a 3, a 4, 5, 6, 7 rejections. Let's get a daily close above 521.95, and you are going to probably take out this zone and march up to 532.10 to 533.82. So big level there, 521.95. I want to see a daily close above it. Not saying it happens right off the start off the week, but if it does, we probably have a solid rest of the week coming, and we probably are getting at least up to here. Maybe not all-time highs, but at least up to here. We, again, have this little range going on here, and that is a 3% range, just like SPY. Guess what? That is almost going to be bringing you up to all-time highs if you just get the equivalent move, okay? So on the upside, we have 521.95. Then we have the 525.97 to 527.92 supply zone up there. Above 527.92, we're talking 532.10 to 533.82. Mark out these zones if you want to follow along with my levels above 533.82, 540.81. On the downside, we're watching 517.32. We have the 511.84 gap. I know it looks like it fills. It was not filled. It missed it by 9 cents there on Friday. Again, if you do not know how to get these levels, to get these perfect reactions off of your levels, just like we have over here, just like we have over here, you can still mine for absolutely no cost to you. If you want a more hands-on approach, you can join the Discord that is going to be down below. I will be live every single morning. You could trade with me. You'll get the focus list. I guarantee you will have 2 to 4 hot setups, clean setups for you to take advantage of 50 to 100% gains every single week. No matter what my execution is, I promise I will continue to put your attention onto those hot setups that are ready to go. We're talking Mag 7 stocks. We're talking the speculative stocks. We're talking SPY, QQQ. All right. All of that hot jazz, that will be down below. All right. On the downside, though, 517.32, 511.84. If we cannot hold that gap, we're talking 505.58, and I assume you're going to break that, and you're going to come straight down here, the 200 DMA. I know we have 501.48, but that's going to go out the window because you're coming down to the 200 DMA if you cannot hold 505.58. So we're going to mark that out with a blue level here. Your bullish trigger, we want to see a daily close above 521.95 for the move up here. All right. So we're talking there. All right. Bearish trigger, 505.58. If you even come back down here you're probably coming a little bit lower down to 495. Now, again, we will review the monthly candle just like we did on SPY. The thing is a freaking monster. Okay, it's a monster. It's probably going higher like what happens most of the time when we print these candlesticks. If you get something like this, that's 3.35% to the upside. Yes, it would have, just gone up and came straight back down, or it went down before it went up. We don't know exactly how that month went, but I could tell you right now, if we get that, even if it just sweeps the high and pulls back, you're getting new all-time highs, baby. That's what we're looking for off a monthly candle like that. We are not looking for the thing to just fall flat in its face. Maybe it pulls back. If it gaps down to start off the week, I'm anticipating it probably does get bought up, judging by that monthly candle. All right. Same situation as SPY, guys. We are looking to buy that dip. We're either looking for this continuation setup across the board, or we are looking to buy that dip this month into this. You got this. It's followed by this. Prepare. We know the bearish trigger for the week. We know the bullish triggers for the week. You know what you're doing. Okay, you have all the information you need to make money in this market this week. I'm telling you, we have a lot of hot setups right now. Things are ready to go. We're going to point out some of those at the end of this video. We're going to go over the MAG 7 stocks real quick. We'll kick it off with the MAGS ETF. All right, so we did come down to this 51.55 gap. We got buyers right around there. All right, guys, we want to get back about 52.88 and then push through 53.71. We are probably going to just start continuing from there, and then we probably are going to burn this divergence right here, and we have a fuel there for a bigger move higher. I'm not going to say this is the most bullish weekly candlestick, but with the other things that we're looking at, I am assuming that everything as a whole is probably going to be continuing higher this week. Again, I can't be wrong. I pointed out the trigger. You can easily set your alert for that. All right, and that's all. It's very simple, guys. Very simple. But that is the MAGS ETF. We'll just take a start over here on Tesla. Tesla faded. All right, I know everything else pumped on NVIDIA and Tesla. They decided to fall flat on their faces, especially Tesla over here into the close. All right, guys. So I got out for a slight loss over here. Okay, it is what it is. Tesla has not been our friend. Tesla is still something that is probably going to be ripping. This is how the monthly candle closed. I know it's looking like a troll right now. I know it's looking like it could pull back, and it can pull back. It probably will in the short term with how this thing just closed out. But I'm also going to remind you, the thing is probably going to rip up to, 380 to 400 here. I'm not talking about the short term, but we are definitely talking June through July. We're anticipating this thing to go on a ripperoonie. And I know it's not cooperating right now, but we are still anticipating that move. So we are going to keep it on our radar, and I will let you guys know when that move is actually happening. For all we know, you're going to get one fat, nasty gap up next week, and you're going to continue to take out this 367.71 high, and then you're targeting 373.04, and then 384, and then 401.34, that gap that's left open right over there. All right, I'm not saying you're going to get that because of how you just, closed out like that, but I'll tell you right now, if this thing happens to gap up here and then takes out the high of that candlestick early on the week, you can bet you're probably going to get, 390, 400 this week. All right, I am still anticipating that move comes. I just think we might be able to get a better price in the short term. And I also didn't want to start my week off with a loser over here when I'm very, very confident we are going to start off with some nice ass bangers this week. So, I decided to take the little loss there. It was up 40%. I let it come back to break even, and then they lost about 70 per contract there off of break even. It is what it is. It was looking real nice though. It was looking real freaking juicy. Okay, we're talking 900 to like 1300 something a con, and then it fell off a freaking cliff as the market bounced its butt off into the into the skies. Okay, into the stratosphere. Tesla died. All right. So I would just say in the short term, don't expect too much, but I'm telling you, if you do end up seeing that gap up, all right, you gap up, you get about 354.99, and then in the short term, if you take out 367.71, yeah, this thing's probably going to go 390, 400 this week into next. That's what I'd be watching over here in Tesla. I'm not going to say it looks the best. NVIDIA is also one that's not looking the best, but I'm just going to give a little news flash. Everything else is looking good. These two suck. Okay, so spoiler alert, NVIDIA and Tesla, these are the bearish ones of the MAG 7 stocks right now. At least that's how they're looking compared to everything else. But everything else is kind of looking really freaking nice. Okay. NVIDIA, you just had earnings. You gapped up. You faded this level over here, 137.40. That's where you want to see buyers hold. They did not hold there. All right. We got right underneath it. We actually hit it with a break and retest off that level right over there. Again, if you do not have levels that are being respected, feel free to steal mine and put them on your chart. Okay. Levels, they don't change until we develop new structure. So you can continue using these levels. And I would just say, watch Friday's high over here at 139.62. If it does take out 139.62 at that point, probably getting back up here. But I'm going to take off the zone right here. You have 137.40, 139.62, and then you have 143.44, which again, levels, you can still mine. The high of day was 143.49. Well, 143.44. I'm sorry, you went over by 5 cents. I apologize. Okay, I apologize. But this thing is likely going to head up to all-time highs sooner rather than later this month. And if it pulls back, it's a buying opportunity. My opinion. All right, it's the same exact look as Tesla. Now, I'm just going to point out these other stocks. They don't have these looks. Okay, they look like the indices. They don't look all that bad. Amazon pulled back to 202.37, found buyers, increasing volume on Friday. All right, if it could get back through 206.85, I do think it's going to test 208.85. Perfect rejection right there. And then over 208.85, that gap that's still open by 4 cents right there. We're watching 211.93 and then 216.20. Coming over here to Meta. All right, again, our key 641.86 level. Break, rejection, breakout. All right, you're holding, you found buyers off that level, and then boom, you lost it and you reclaimed it by end of the day. If you take out 653.32 over here, it is likely going to go like this. Okay, again, very green monthly candlesticks over here. Normally, we do end up pushing a little bit higher. It doesn't matter if you print a reversal candlestick that following month. We are expecting you to continue higher. If we see a dip early to start off the month, we will look to buy that dip. But I'm just saying, with how everything, SPY pulled back to the 200 DMA and now we're getting bought up. Like ideally, we are just going to continue from here. All right. Again, VIX looks like it's going to take out that low. That means the S&P 500 is very likely going to be continuing to push. All right. And that means NASDAQ's likely to push. And that means that everything that we're talking about here is likely to push. The broad market looks good. All right, so that's Meta. Coming over here to Apple. All right, the key level you're going to watch this week is 203.81. Above 203.81, we're talking 206.75, 209.48, and then 214.56. You get above 214.56, I'll make this another blue level. Key level we're watching over here. Wouldn't be a Henry video with it. There's darn hiccups stepping in the way. There we go. Above 214.56, we're talking 219.38, and then not a guarantee. Not a guarantee, okay? But I can almost guarantee if you do get above 214.56, in the short term, you're probably just going to see this 225.70 level act as a magnet. That is where the 200 DMA is. That is where you broke down from over here, break and retest right off of that level, okay? That is likely going to act as a magnet if you can push through this heavy resistance right here, and you would get a pretty vertical move starting up right there. On the downside, you're watching for 198.23 to hold. If Friday's low is taken out here at 196.78, at that point, you're probably going to be coming down to 193.25. And I'm just going to tell you, if you retest this level, it's probably not going to hold. This next one's probably not going to hold at 189.81, and then you're coming down to 183. There you go. That's Apple. This is, bearish scenario. You take out Friday's low. You know what? Bearish scenario starts here. This is when you really have confirmation that this thing is breaking down. From here, it's coming down here. Maybe even down here. Okay? Above here, probably coming up here. But if you do get up here, well, it's probably at least coming up here. We have golden pocket action right there. All right, so probably getting into this area. And if it does break above 209.48, that's right at the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement. At that point, you can expect 214.56. Get above there. Talking this move all the way up here. So, the bull scenario starts right here with the break above 203.81. And, this is how you're going to play it. Let's say you have 10 contracts, okay? You get up here, all right, into this golden pocket. Oh, I'm up 20, 30%. We'll just say you're up 30%. Okay, let's take 30% off. Stop is going to be break even. Well, if bulls are going to, if they're going to take the wheel, you're probably just going to push straight through this area and push up here. Oh, now I'm up, 60 to 70% on things. These are, contracts 2 months out, we'll say. You're probably honestly going to be up 100% at that point. But yeah, all right, so July contracts, you then take off most of the position. You take off another 3 contracts. You have 4 remaining, okay? Because if you get up here after, having this pullback, you're very likely just going to break it. So you're holding your runners for up here, all right? So those last 4 contracts, let's just say you now get up to this resistance. Oh, let's take off another 2. And then you only have 2 contracts. But guess what? Those 2 contracts just went like 200% for you. That's how I would personally be trading this, okay? So that is Apple for you. Come over here to GOOG. What do you got? All right, I know the weekly candle's not all that nice. The monthly's not all that bad. Daily's not all that bad. Not by any means. Heavy volume on Friday. Pulled back. Almost tested 168.24. Found buyers off there. Pushed right back up to the 200 above. We're going to just mark out Friday's high now. Above 173.44. We're watching for the test of 176.90. Again, no guarantees will be found on this channel. No financial advice. But I'll tell you what the probability suggests. You test this area for a 3rd time. All right? You're probably going to break it. And then you have 183.34. So above 176.90, you have 183.34. On the downside, you have 170.65 and then 168.24. If 168.24 does not hold, that's where that 21 EMA is. Then you have a larger unwind on your hands. And you better hold 163.24 because then you're breaking down from this bear flag. And yeah, the depths of hell down there is the limits. You don't know. But I will tell you right now, the Google is my favorite Mag 7 stock, fundamentally speaking. Yeah, I mean, the thing's a giant. And I would say, honestly, it's the best one. All right, so there's that. I'm just going to say, Meta overvalued, Google undervalued. There you go. That's my opinion. Tesla, we're not going to talk about that guy. Yeah, we all know. Microsoft, how we looking over here? Well, monthly candle. Is anyone going to argue with this, that this is going to take out all-time highs next month? Does anyone want to test me in the comments here? You want to say, Henry, you're an idiot. What are you talking about? That thing's a bearish chart. Are you serious? Are you serious right now, buddy? Yeah, 468.35, very likely incoming over the next 30 days. I don't know exactly when that's going to take place, but I could tell you it is very likely going to take out that all-time high and continue pumping. From there, we're talking the 480 psych level and the 500 psychological level. That is what I would be paying attention to. Don't expect those to, just be hit straight up. All right, don't expect price to go straight up. But yeah, this thing, once its gaps, it's just continuing to have these breakaway gaps from the monthly to the weekly down to the daily time frame. The thing is looking like a freaking monster. Okay, doesn't want to fill that gap right there. We're very likely going to continue higher. Okay, so above 462.52, you are going to be paying attention to 468.35, and then above there, 470, 475, 480. You're literally just going to watch the psych levels. But you had heavy volume coming on Friday. That was the heaviest volume you've seen in a while here. All right, and yeah, the last one that was just about that size there was right before you skyrocketed. All right, I'm not saying you're going to skyrocket, but I'm telling you, this thing's probably going to keep just drifting higher. All the Mag 7 stocks besides Tesla and NVDA are looking phenomenal. They are looking like they're going to continue until proven otherwise. We are going to expect that to continue. If Microsoft was to come all the way back down here, I'm just going to say at this point, that's the level to pay attention to. If it comes all the way back down there, it does not hold 443.67. We're coming somewhere over here, okay? But until that happens, it's going all-time highs, baby. There you go. All right. As far as SMH goes, semiconductors as a whole, guys, you're consolidating above the 200 DMA. You don't want to take out this low. You don't want to retest 234.17. We kind of just want to gap and go, or just continue, maybe you gap down a little. Boom. Get a big green daily candlestick, bullish engulfing, and then we're probably going to be taking out this high, 249.44. Above 249.44, we're talking 259.63. You don't have anything in between here and up here. All right. TSM does not look bad by any means over here. We're just going to adjust that level there. Okay. Yeah, continue to push higher over here. If you could take out 199.80, There's really nothing until you get all the way up here. It doesn't mean you go straight up, but that's the path of least resistance, is to hit it with this guy, okay? Or that guy where you just keep drifting higher, okay? Now we're going to talk about some trade ideas going into next week, okay? Okay, I'm going to start off with my favorite setups going into next week. We're going to start off with Walmart, okay? Walmart is getting ready for a big move over here, guys. Monthly candle chart. Got bought up, got the dip eaten up. You retested a key zone down here. We can see it on the weekly time frame. This is where you broke out from on this candle right here, break and retest. Well, we actually have another break and retest right there. If you take out 99.49, the thing is likely going to start heading up to 102.55 and then 105.30. I really like the looks of these things, okay? And I'll just tell you, July calls are what I like. I like the July 105C, okay? On a $2.50 move. I forgot the exact math. I left it over there in the Discord earlier, but I'm pretty sure they will be moving about 150% off the top of my head. I like June and July calls, but I'm just going to tell you the July calls are going to move very similar to the June calls. You might as well have double the time on them if you're, we're talking like risk to reward, or not risk to reward, just like the difference in premium gain you'll get for the same dollar amount is going to be like 20-30%. I much rather just take the one with double the time on it. Just my opinion. Next one, PLTR, guys. Fresh breakout on PLTR come Friday, or came on Friday. Heavy volume on the breakout. Green wide bodied bar. Get above 133.49. We're talking 140, 145, 150 incoming. If it pulls back into 127.88, it's buying opportunity. Monthly candle closed out like a freaking monster. It's likely going to continue drifting higher. I'm not saying that was the last monthly candle that looked like this. I'm not saying you're going to hit it with something like that, but that was a 50% move. And then the last time before, you printed a candlestick like this. And again, this is at new highs at the time. Not new all-time highs, but new highs, relative highs. That's what it is right over here, okay? Well, next month, you went another 15%. From the low of that month, you went 30%, okay? Dips are buying opportunities over here on PLTR into this 125.41 to 127.88 zone. And then you look for the breakout trade above 133.49 for a move up to 140, 145, 150. All right? I like July calls over here as well. June calls, same situation as Walmart. I prefer just, getting that extra layer of safety there with July calls. I know this month is likely going to be ticking higher a decent amount. And yeah, I don't really want to see Theta mess with that move. All right. Like I said, very clean setups we got going into this week, guys. HIMS. We know it's very likely going to take out this high probably this next month. Heaviest volume it's ever had over here. Let's come down to the weekly chart, guys. You're holding this key level. And then if you come over here to the daily time frame, you actually broke out. Well, you started breaking out. You closed like right on our level. But above 56.52, this is a $5 range you got going on here. That is a breakout. Then we're talking 59.70, 63.20, and 65.89. I am just going to point out, all right, if we do end up seeing a green candlestick this next week, it is likely going to start another impulsive move up like that. Regardless, we are anticipating this thing does end up coming up here this week. Above 65.89, it's going to 72.98, and at that point I do think we probably, like, if we get a nice green week and we start a trending move up this week, the next 1 to 2 weeks after that, I anticipate this to continue pushing, just like you had this 3 candle move over here. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here. You had 1, 2 over here. So after, if we get a green week this week, we take out 65.89, we're going to anticipate that you end up getting that, continuation style move the following week. Okay. But real talk, this is very likely going to be bought up. This is very likely going to, it's going to continue these impulsive moves. All right. So it's something I am paying attention to. Bros over here, guys. All right. I put this so early on your radar here. By that, I mean on this week over here. All right. This is beautiful. This is, picture perfect break and retest going on here. You missed it by, a couple pennies over here, a little more than a couple pennies. But you drifted right back up here to the scene of the crime. Take out 73.93. We're talking 80.62 and then 86.88. Above 73.93, I think within the same week we can test 80.62. That's this week, baby. If this thing wants to explode, I put it on your radar before. I'm telling you right now, it's about to go. There's bros. Okay, next one we're talking is Piton. Piton, guys, this weekly candle, it engulfed 3 weeks of range right here. It's very likely not that, going to be a false move right there. Daily candle chart, we could see inverse head and shoulders pattern right here. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder right there. Well, guess what? This is a break and retest of this area. You also found buyers right off the 200. Above 724, we're talking 780. Above 780, you move to 849, probably that same week, which can be next week. I'm looking at some good things over here on Piton. I think this was just an intermediate week here, a break before you go whoop, just like that. Rocket Lab. I'm actually, I regret putting this on your radar. So don't, like right now, I prepared this video. It's on the list of tickers I want to pitch as trade ideas. I'm just going to tell you right now, I wouldn't be touching this. I wouldn't be touching it. It's reverting to the mean. Yes, you're finding buyers over here. You're holding our zone, 26.45, 27.25, but weekly candle, I think I pointed this out in the last video. If this thing did not recover on Friday, then yeah, it's probably going to be doing a whole lot of chop or just not clean price action. We don't have to involve ourselves in it. I just pointed out some really nice setups for you guys to take advantage of a clean 50 to 100% gain this week. Probably some of those are going to turn into 5-10 baggers on June or July calls. You have everything you need every single freaking week on this channel to make your money in the market. Please. I scratch your back for no cost to you. I enjoy doing so. But I also like my back getting scratched. It feels good. Can you guys please leave a like on the video if you are finding value in our content here? Again, there's no other channel that will do it like us on YouTube for absolutely no cost to you. People just want to shove things down your throat for you to buy. I give you them for absolutely no cost to you. And then if you want to see execution, if you want to learn these things and you want a more hands-on approach, I let you guys choose if you want to do that. But I give you guys the bulk of all of the information we have for absolutely no cost to you, and this is definitely enough for you to make your living here in the stock market. Okay, please remember to leave a like on the video so we can talk to Mr. YouTube algorithm over there and get this channel stock pumping. Okay, next one we're talking is Hood over here, guys. We've been talking about how pullbacks over here, all right, we're going to act as buying opportunities. This thing is actually not pulled back. It is consolidated, traded completely flat in this range over here. This range is $4.21. Above 66.91, we are probably going to $71. That is going to be $4 above 66.91. That is the move I would be looking for over here. I'm not telling anybody to play this. You're buying into all-time high, well, not all-time highs, but yeah, relative highs over here that we haven't seen in quite some time. We're probably not getting up to 85 right away. It's probably not just going to shoot up there, but I do think we're probably just going to keep drifting up there. You could see how the monthly candle just closes. It's a freaking monster. If it happens to pull back starting next month, like something like that, all right, it is a buying opportunity. Hands down. The thing is going to break through 66.91, whether it goes like this, all right, and then goes like this, or whether it goes like this, all right, we don't know. But this thing is a monster in the making. It's already a monster, okay? But it's making more of a monster over here, okay? Next one we're talking is CrowdStrike. On the daily chart, you see the break and retest off previous all-time high, 455.59. You do have earnings coming in hot on Tuesday after the close, all right? I'm not telling anybody to play this during earnings or before earnings. I'm not. Okay, I'm just putting it on your radar. If you would like to take an earnings gamble, there is that. I personally wouldn't. If this thing does end up selling off of earnings, all right, I don't think it's something we should just be buying up. I'm just going to be completely honest on that. But if it does sell down or trade flat off earnings and then it pushes through 474.23, I think it can get a little squeeze action going on here. So something I'm watching. AVGO. Break and retest off of 235.28 today. Well, not today, on Friday, which was yesterday, actually. Above 246.07, we're talking all-time highs at 251.88. Above there, we're talking 260 and then 270 psychological levels. Carvana, I put it on your radar in this flag. I said if there was a stock over here that was, really going to go, if the market was going to support it, if the market was going to keep going up, yeah, it's Carvana over here. You had a picture perfect bull flag, break and retest off of this previous high here.